here's that Ryobi router, and I'm just going to play around with it to see if I can use it for this under the bench kind of mount. All right, I've done enough looking at this router. I do believe it's going to work. What I like about it is this thing. This is the shortest one, the shortest bit that I have, and it's sticking, you know, a good 2.5 inches up above, or 1.5 inches up above that base there. Here's a 2x4, just for comparison. Yeah, so it's about 1.5 inches. But I got a couple of things here that just came in the mail. And so I've got some T-tracks here and a couple of clamps. So I'm going to take a quick look at that. All right, let's start with this T-track here. I'm assuming that's what it is. I wasn't expecting anything else. This is the shape of the box it would be in, so. I ordered this last week, right from the manufacturer. You can buy it on Amazon, but I chose not to go with Amazon.
Instead, it went straight to the manufacturer, and the price was exactly the same as on Amazon. So it must be giving Amazon some sort of a deal. Amazon must be demanding some sort of a deal. All right. Here's what we've got.
So this is all aluminum. Yeah, so I ordered this from Rockler. And they sent a nice catalog for me to buy more stuff. Okay, so I got 2 different kinds of track. I don't know what kind of track I want to use. This is a regular T-track here. You can see on the back it doesn't have any holes. Basically, this gets inlaid into the wood so that it's this top piece right here is flush. And what that does is that allows you to put some little deals in here, and when you twist it, it sort of locks whatever it is in place, like a little clamp. Now this other T-track, which is called a universal track, it's shaped a little bit differently, and it has pre-drilled holes, and it's not quite as tall. So let's take a look at it here, compare them very closely. So you can see that it is a little bit shallower, a little bit more, not quite as tall, so you don't have to put that inlaid into the wood quite as far. And the shape of it there is just a little bit different than the T-track. And so, and it's got pre-drilled holes on the back. So this is aluminum. You can cut this on a regular saw. And maybe that's the one. Maybe that's the way to go with that. I kind of like that. Maybe I'll just use this and just run a couple of strips sort of up through the middle of everything. One here, and then one up over there a little bit. And the clamps, incidentally, let's see here.
I looked all over for this stuff, Lowe's and stuff like that. There was one place that had a different version of it by Craig. You know, they didn't have, it was one of those tool places that are like viewers, they don't have the prices labeled. So I would imagine, you know, they wanted like $300 or something like that for really stuff. So
this is what the clamp looks like. These clamps will come in different sizes. this is the way it goes. Yeah. Okay, so this deal. So you can imagine if this was you know, affixed to the bench, you know, and inlaid, that this deal right here would slide in like so, right? It would slide in, and you know, you would put a piece of wood or something here, whatever it was that you needed to clamp down, and then when you twist this thing, it gets affixed in there. This is the T-track, the regular T-track. Same deal. Same deal. Yeah, so you can't, you basically have to have a place where you can start this thing, right? If you, So this is the bottom part, right? Right, so when this is down into the wood, you know, there's no way to get this in there, right? So you're going to have to router out an area for this to go down in and come into it. So that's kind of cool. Yeah, I think I'll go with this one that's pre-drilled here. I've got to pick up some little screws for it though. Well, here is sort of where I ended up on the router. I just inlaid it right here, so I can move this thing down or move it up just by twisting this thing underneath here, and I can completely bury it below the level here, right? So I countersunk these screws and still got a good 3/4 of an inch holding on to the router underneath there. There were 3 5/16 inch bolt holes that I could screw this stuff into. So that's where it ended up. And it's really easy to change that bit out and manage everything from right here. So there's a little locky deal. I just push that in, and then I get the pliers and unscrew it and loosen it so that that bit can come out. And this thing, I just tested it out a little bit. It does just fine. You know, I'll get a fence up here. You know, maybe when I get those locking deals in place, I'll be able to sort of put a fence in here that I can adjust, and then locking deals meaning the T-tracks, right? So, and then turn it on. I can find the switch. Works like that. Works pretty good. So I'm going to go with this for now. You know, at some point I might want to redo it, make it look a little bit more fancy and inlay it, but this is functional. Everything that I need is here. I can change out that thing just fine. I can lower it. It is, you know, it's not going to interfere with something that comes from the saw. So I'm going to go with this for now. This is functional. I'm working on this T-track now. I figure I want to take this universal T-track. Put it right about here. So I've outlined it here. And this is, I can't remember how high it's, what is that? It is 3/8 of an inch deep. So I'm going to get my router and I'm going to set up a little jig. And I'm going to plunge down in here 3/8 of an inch. This is 3/4 of an inch wide. By the way, it's 7 inches in. And there's nothing underneath of it. So, you know, technically I'm going to be cutting into this board, you know, that far and weakening it. And so what I thought I would do is, once I get this in place, I'm going to drill a hole or two coming down through here so that I can see it from underneath. And then from underneath, what I'm going to do is get 2x4 and strengthen it. I'll run another 2x4 running the length here from underneath, right on that T-track. All right. So I have put a little T-track in there. I routed it a little bit too deep. Yeah, I'm not sure. The router slipped as I was going, and it sort of cascaded down as I was going. So I just made it all a uniform depth. Had a little mistake right there. So live and learn. Check the brakes on your router, the up and down on it. Make sure it's really locked in good. Otherwise, you'll have this happen, but that's okay. It just really needs to be recessed, and this is fine the way it is. It's not going to hurt anything to be a little bit deep. I picked up a bunch of 2x4s, which I'm going to put some more going underneath here, especially since this went a little bit deep. All right. So I just stacked a whole bunch of 2x4s there. What do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 2x4s. On top of that 2x6. So it's all glued and nailed in there. So now I'm just going to flip it up and this time I'm going to make sure that those wheels are locked. All right.